Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I can't believe it's already Thursday. We've almost survived week 2 without Craig. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey. We got Sean back behind the Mac. How's it going?
You know what? I was thinking of yesterday's show, and the watch just said it feels like Craig picked the thumbnail. So I want to say about yesterday's show. You might be surprised to know I actually got my degree in marketing, and that's a true story. But when I looked at yesterday's show name, do you remember what yesterday's show name was?
Craigslist.
So what were people thinking?
Craig Morgan.
No? So I think if we, and I know in some circles that would be a great boost to ratings, but I think the Craig button might have put us over the top. So
well, his name was in the headline.
I know,
so.
Just saying.
Why are you telling me this on the air?
Because Craig's not here.
But Craigslist, it's like a play on Craigslist.
No, I get that. That's brilliant. But Craig's not here. Craig's in the mountains. Like, is he gonna come back?
Maybe not. I think he's in Milan right now, actually. Milan.
He's at Fashion Week. Craig Morgan at Fashion Week. Good. But other than that, it's going really good. Another beautiful day in the desert. And we're going to talk hockey again.
Yes, we are.
And you know what we're not talking? The other thing. We're not even
going to say the name.
Nope.
The words.
Nope,
we won't say it. That's not because the truth is we don't know anything. So why talk about something we don't know?
Up bright and early for Caleb. By the way, Caleb's going to Nashville.
Is he?
He is going to
Nashville.
Caleb,
can't wait.
Caleb, I might buy Caleb his first beer.
His first beer ever.
Yeah,
the first beer he's ever had.
Pretty sure Caleb, that ship has sailed.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Caleb, but he is going right from Nashville, flies home, lands, and goes to a concert that night.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Caleb on the boat.
Excited.
Sorry.
I'm also excited because we have a sale going on right now at PHNXLocker.com. It's a Father's Day sale. Buy one, get one half off all shirts and hats from June 8th. That's today through the 16th. Father's Day is, I believe, in just like a week and a half at this point. So make sure you get your orders in. Buy one, get one half off. What a deal. I feel like I've just been giving out Father's Day ideas for weeks, but
this is great.
This is an amazing one. We have unbelievable merch in our locker. Petey's rocking the Four Peaks collab shirt. Just great stuff. Honestly, the Coyotes shirts might be the best.
Say this, like the ad, the dad hat, literally the name of the hat is in the Father's Day. I think it's a dad hat.
Yeah, and it's a great hat.
So get a shirt, and then you get the dad hat half off.
Yeah, amazing.
Buddy.
Yeah. Great deal. Share this with your friends.
Hope you're listening.
Yeah, and if your dad is a sports fan of any of the Valley teams, we have merch for every single team and some amazing.
And you know what the Coyotes
gear.
need? The Coyotes need to make the playoffs so they can get fire shirts like the Suns get. Like if you look at that on that graphic,
the mid-range assassins. I know, sick. And the Valley of Death with the scorpion.
I know, they're all really cool.
Yeah, so the Coyotes.
Come on, Coyotes, let's go.
We'll get some cool shirts.
We will
down the road, but I do think that.
We have cool shirts right
Cody
now.
shirts, I mean,
they're
money.
Great. Shirts are
the
great.
Mosaic shirt, money.
But we can't be assassins because we're not in the playoffs. Okay,
it's okay. Maybe one time.
Father's Day.
Well, we're not talking about the playoffs, but we're talking about the building blocks to get there. We've been talking a lot about the draft because it's in 3 weeks. We had Craig Button on the show yesterday, which if you missed it, go back and watch it or listen. Phenomenal interview, amazing insight from Craig Button, who's TSN's director of scouting. So he's watching all these prospects. And we've been talking a lot about who could the Coyotes pick at 6. It's all about the 6th pick, of course, because it's their first pick in the draft. But the Coyotes are actually the only team with 2 picks in the top 15, which is a really unique position to be in. And they're going to pick 12th overall as well. And when the lottery happened, we had it ready to go. Who are the best 6 overall picks in the lottery era? So, Matthew Tkachuk's on that list. We went over all of that. But the 12th pick, I feel like, has kind of been a throw-in conversation just because it's the 2nd pick. But we wanted to give the 12th pick some love today because the 12th pick, you can get a phenomenal player at number 12.
Yeah, and it's funny because it turns out that's higher than a lot of teams are going to pick.
A lot.
My home state, Minnesota Wild, they don't pick till 21.
Yep.
Which is, if you look at, that's 9 lower.
Math.
So for the Coyotes to get 2 players in a deep draft this high, I think you can pick. You always say you pick the best athlete or pick the next best guy on the list. This time you can pick for need. By the time the 12th pick, I don't want to say it's a wasted pick or a throwaway pick. It's a pick that you can go, God, we really need a defenseman here, or we really need this kind of player. Let's get the best of this kind of player. It's a luxury, and I think this is how you get through a rebuild. You have 2 picks in the top 12. If you hit on both of those guys that become NHL regulars, they don't need to be number one centers. They need to be guys that can play every day in the NHL. And we talked to Craig Button yesterday, said that this draft is deep for top 6 forwards and top 3 defensemen. And he said, not me say, he say, that you in those 12 picks should have the ability to get 2 players that are top 6 forwards or
a top 3
defensemen.
Which is awesome.
Exactly.
And I know 12, it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3, but we went back in the lottery era, which is 1997, right? Or 96 till now?
I don't know. Around
96
there.
or 97
we rounded up.
till
Craig's
now.
Not here, so we can bend the rules.
But the lottery era, who were the best 12th overall picks? And this is what we came up with. Here's our list. Marian Hossa. I mean, heard of him?
Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yeah, Hall of Fame player. He was picked at number 12.
12.
By the Ottawa Senators. He won Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, an absolute legend. And I know someone joked about, Craig picked the thumbnail because he's on it. But, I mean, he is the all-around best 12th overall pick, not just in the lottery era, but I would say ever. And we'll get to the non-lottery era list in a little bit. You continue going down that list. You got Alex Tanguay.
Alex Tanguay, and not only that, Alex Tanguay had a brief stop here as a desert dog too. Yeah, and Marian Hossa, we know, retired as a Coyote.
Yes, of course.
And Alex Tanguay actually literally did play here. Like, he literally played here. And the thing that these 2 and the top 3 guys on this list have in common, they all won a Stanley Cup at number 12, which goes to my point that you need to fill spots on a roster. So Alex Tanguay comes in at number 2, played just over 1,000 games, ended up with 863 points in those 1,000 games, and won a cup with Colorado.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Craig Button said yesterday. Like, hockey, more than a sport like the NBA, is a team sport. You need depth. You can't just have the top 1, 2, 3 players. Continuing down the list, you got Ryan McDonough. I didn't even know he was drafted by the Canadians. That's what Sean and I were talking about before the show. See, to me, he's more of a Ranger and a Lightning. But then you go down, and here's a defenseman. You got Ham Hughes. Is he a defenseman?
Yeah, Ham Hughes. Really good defenseman. And this is where it gets difficult. Like Dan Ham Hughes, you got to go back and look at the numbers that Dan Ham Hughes played in Nashville. He's a guy that he played over 1,100 games in the league. He got 356 points as a defenseman. But he's an everyday defenseman for a really good hockey team over a long period of time. And this is when you look at Nashville, when they had those years where they had really solid 6, Dan Ham Hughes fill, and then he played also in Vancouver. Like, he's a guy that if you get a Dan Ham Hughes player to join your organization, you got a guy that can eat a lot of minutes. So that's why he made it so high in this list.
And then another defenseman, Cam Fowler, who is a top-pair defenseman in this league, or at his prime was. Again, you can find that at number 12 overall.
And he's almost Cam Fowler is almost half a point a game guy on the back end. He's been at the top of the power play in Anaheim in the past. He's a guy that's a puck mover. He's a high-skilled guy. And you look at him being in their top 4 for nearly a decade now. If you can get a top 4 defenseman at 12 for a decade in your franchise, a guy that can play all sides of the puck, he can kill penalties, he can be on the power play, and he can get the puck up the ice, that's a win. And so I know we've talked a lot about Connor Bedard, but there are some really good players that can be available. But you need to have a really good scouting staff to make sure you get the right guy.
And the Coyotes have a complete scouting staff for the first time pretty much in their history.
And that's where we keep saying this, and we keep talking about the trust in GMBA. I think that this is going to be the draft where that's really, okay, we saw what he did with Logan Cooley last year, that some say if you redrafted, he would be now the number 1 pick. Coyotes get him at 3. They've got a 6 and a 12 pick. And we had him on the show, and he's like, I'm not disappointed. We're fine. We're going to get good players. He just has to pick the right players.
Yeah.
And so I think this is really the beginning of the end of the rebuild. Not the rebuild is like, we've got to get these guys here, we got to develop them and all that. But I think this is the core that's coming in right now over the last 2 seasons and this year's draft that are going to be there.
As Craig Button said yesterday, move from the hope stage to the belief stage, which I really love.
1,000%.
Couple guys in the lottery era who didn't make the graphic but made the list in the sense that they are on the cusp of being great 12th overall picks. First on that list is Matt Boldy.
Yep.
Another guy Craig Button talked about yesterday. Great up and coming.
And he's almost a point-a-game guy.
Yeah.
Just under a point-a-game guy from Minnesota Wild, and he's taken a huge step over the last season and a half for that Minnesota Wild team from when he just broke into the league towards the end of the season 2 years ago to what he became this year. Like, he was a big piece of what they're doing moving forward. I don't know where the limit is for Matt Boldy and what he brings to that Wild team. He's going to be an important top 6 player for the Minnesota Wild for years to come, and he was just drafted in 2019.
Yeah.
So again, at number 12.
Yep. Next on the cusp list, and this guy had a breakout year this past season. Unbelievable player, Martin. How do you say it?
Marty Necas.
Necas. Yeah. What a year for the Hurricanes. He has 285 games under his belt already, 190 points in those games, 73 goals, 117 assists. Just a great career so far.
He's a guy that they counted on to add their scoring. He's great on the power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. He is, again, you look at a top 6 forward that brings them a lot of offense. He ended up with just shy of 30 goals this year, with 28 for a Carolina Hurricane team. And unfortunately, where they lost some pieces in the playoffs, they really had to rely on him more. Mm-hmm. And he ends up this year's playoffs with just 4 goals. But he's another guy where he was drafted in 2017, so he's still 24 years old. Again, he's going to be a big core to this team for another 8-10 years, and that's the kind of player you need to hit on at 12. And if you could go, we get so caught up in the number 1 pick overall. Mm-hmm. You get Connor Bedard. I know everybody's talking about Connor Bedard is Connor McDavid. I know that's the comparison. Connor McDavid's not playing in the Stanley Cup Finals right now.
And he hasn't.
Yeah, and the point is the point is winning.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's not who gets the first pick or who has the franchise player drafted. It's who wins. And you need to fill in spots and get the right players in those spots to win. And I think that's what the number 12 pick is going to give this Coyotes team, another guy that helps propel a guy in a roster that's going to be very high-skilled and very deep in years to come. So I think it's an important pick, and it's one that they need to hit on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another guy on the cusp, Noah Dobson, a 2018 draft pick by the Islanders, already has 121 points in 238.
He's a guy, and Noah Dobson's a guy, it turns out I watch a lot of hockey during the year, and Noah Dobson was a player you notice. When you watch the New York Islanders, you notice him up in the play, up in off of the blue line, up in off of the rush. He's a dynamic offensive player. And again, he's 23 years old. So the ceiling and where he becomes as a leader and a stalwart on that Islander blue line over the years to come, they picked that at 12. And again, these are guys, we're talking about guys that are, this isn't once in 20 years where you get a good player. These players, there's 3 players in the last 6 years that you go, okay, they're really big, important players to their team. So it does, again, it continues to push that word hope for this Coyotes franchise that at number 12, it's a guy that, you know what, he might not play next year. He might not play the year after. But when this team comes out the other side of the rebuild, they have got the core pieces that they got through the draft, and part of that is going to be the pick they got at 12.
Yeah, honorable mentions as well. We can't forget about Arizona pick in 2013, Max Domi,
who is a big part of what they did in Dallas.
Yeah,
and their run to the Western Finals this year.
Yeah, we got Anton Lindell in Florida, Cole Sillinger. He's kind of one of the top prospects in Columbus.
2021 draft pick.
Yeah, just a great list.
Mark Stahl and the New York Rangers.
Wow, yeah.
And drafted him, and he played over 1,000 games.
Isn't he on Florida right now?
Yeah.
So playing for a Stanley Cup.
One of the best beards.
Yeah, great beard. And Brady mentioned, can't believe you forgot to mention the older classic 12th overall too. Well, we're only been talking about the lottery era, so let's pull up the list of 12th overall.
Who said something?
Brady.
Gary
Roberts.
Brady.
I mean, he's number 2 on the all-time list.
Yeah, so we pulled up the old-timers too, and Gary Roberts.
Legend.
100% legend. 1,200 games, over 400 goals in the National Hockey League. Dave Gagne, and I'm a Minnesota guy, so he was a North Star for me. Drafted back in 84, almost 1,000 games, just shy of 1,000 games. And you have to go way back to my childhood and pull out the hockey cards to see Mario Tremblay, the Montreal Canadiens. And he was back in what year? I can't read that.
1956.
No.
That's when he was born.
Yeah, he was born. I was going to say he wasn't drafted. Buddy.
I don't know when
he
was drafted
in the 70s, but he was in the 70 Cup teams of the Montreal Canadiens, Mario Tremblay. But you're right. Again, Brian Little, we talked about.
Coyotes
Tony
legend.
Tanti, I like that name.
Brian Little, Coyotes legend.
My favorite name on there is Sergei Krivokrasov.
Yeah, what a name.
With Chicago. Great name. But yeah, there are a lot of good players. And again, I hate to say this, but this puts the pressure on Bill Armstrong to nail it. And this is what we've talked about for 2 seasons and his ability to put together a scouting staff and a development staff. This is when it becomes important. Anybody, the 3 of us could pick the top 3 this year.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's Bedard and Fantilli and Carlson. We could do that. We don't need to even go watch the guys. It's the picks from 5 to 20. Okay. I bet you if we took the lists of all of the NHL teams, their list would be dramatically different from 5 to 20.
Yep.
So let's see who's right.
Yep. Very true. It'll be really interesting, but I think what we've established here in this conversation is there's still hope at pick 12. Yeah, there is.
Beyond hope. I think I really believe this year, and it's even after talking to Craig Button yesterday, I'm confident that there's going to be a very good player at 12. But when you go back and look at these other drafts of the guys we just talked about, there are players that were drafted ahead of those players, like the year Hossa was drafted or Tanguay. You go look at those drafts, and they're guys that miss. And so you cannot miss when you're picking at 12.
And I think that's what's great about the Coyotes having 2 picks in the top 12. Like, that they have 2 opportunities to hit, because what if 6 is a bust, but 12's the hit, you know?
12's a Hall of Famer. Hossa, he's a Hall of Famer that's won a Stanley Cup.
In the lottery era. Like at 12.
Yeah. And then you go ahead of him, and Daniel Tkachuk, I know it's Tazuk, but Tazuk, I don't even know how to pronounce it. And that's
I don't even know who he is.
19 games in the NHL. 19, Calgary drafted him 6 that year. Hossa's a Hall of Famer 6 spots later. Again.
Wow.
So we talk about this and we grind this in about, where you pick and where you pick and where you pick. Brad Ferentz, who is another guy that played here, defenseman, Bitter. If he's listening today, we had it on a license plate. If your license plate says Bitter, you're a grumpy guy.
Don't mess with that guy on the road.
Brad Ferentz was a defenseman, played here. Brad Ferentz had 250 games. Brad Ferentz is not Marian Hossa, but he was picked 2 picks before him. So you can sit and look about, they've got him at 8, him at 6, him at 4, him at 10. Just pick the right guy.
Yeah.
Because you can go any year in the draft, and hindsight's 2020, and you could redraft, and there's going to be somebody, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be somebody picked in the 2nd or 3rd round that ends up playing more than a guy that's drafted in the 1st round. There just are. It's statistically proof? No. History. It happens. I know I'm getting fired up. I can't even speak.
You're
the point
the
is, and that's why we have to put so much faith in what the general manager is doing. And I think it's important that you hit this season on 6 and 12.
Yep.
Don't take a flyer. Don't take a risk.
Yeah.
Don't go
Coyotes
we're smarter than
in
everybody.
In the past.
Don't do that. Get the right picks at 6 and 12 and develop them. And now you've got the core pieces. Even if you pick the right 3rd line right winger or number 4 defenseman, even if you get it right and that player plays for you for the next 10 or 12 years in that spot, it's still a win for me.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Well, someone else who nails it every time, Petey, is Pins and Aces.
They do nail it.
They really do.
Did you see that shirt? Did you get one of those shirts?
The PHNX
PHNX
shirt. I mean, I got one. We had a custom Phoenix Pins and Aces shirt for our golf tournament. Absolutely unreal. If you missed out, that's okay. There's more tournaments to come. But in the meantime, check out Pins and Aces. They got you covered for the golf course. Amazing gear, shirts, apparel, and they have a beer sleeve so you can keep your beer cold in your golf bag. What more can you ask for on the golf course?
Look like a pro even if you don't play like one.
Exactly.
Pins and Aces.
Did you just make that up?
Yes.
I love that.
I told you I got a marketing.
Check out pinsandaces.com and use code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Another one who nails it always is Illegal Pete's. Constantly. The queso, duh. The margaritas, duh. Just the bowls, the burritos, the chips. Like, the chips are underrated because you just think, it's just chips. No. Like, it's not just chips. check out Illegal Pete's. Phenomenal. And they always have something going on every day of the week. You can kick off your week with Margarita Monday at Illegal Pete's, exclusive to Arizona locations. $3 margs all day every Monday. Hello. That's a great way to start your week.
You know the thing about Illegal Pete's?
What?
One of the things that bothers me, and I know there are many things on that list, but when you go to a bar, specifically a sports bar, and you have to wait for your food, and it takes the bartender like forever to get your food, I hate that.
Yeah.
I want to eat my bar food with a beer and watch sports. That's what I want to do. Illegal Pete's could not be faster.
Yeah, it's true.
Could not be faster.
Yeah.
You walk in the door, you have your food.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you're eating, drinking, and watching sports.
Yep.
Thanks, Illegal Pete's.
Don't forget about Taco Tuesdays as well. $2 tacos.
Is it Margarita Mondays?
All day, every Tuesday. Today's Thursday.
Oh.
I mean, it could be a margarita day.
We can make every day a margarita
Yeah, exactly.
day, Leah.
Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2 on Tuesdays. Swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. All right. Well, as we're just 3 weeks away from the draft, we are going to start doing a prospect spotlight once a day until the draft. Obviously, we're not the prospect experts, so lucky for us, we've talked to many of them so far. 3 of the 4 that we speak to every year, at least. Craig Button, obviously, Corey Proman, and Chris Peters have all been on our show. And we're going to, focus on the guys in that 6 to 12 range. So we're not going to be talking about Bedard, Carlson, Fantilli today. We're just not, because that's not realistic for the Coyotes to draft. And the hope is that by the time draft day comes, you'll be familiar with the guys in that range. And today we're going to start off with Ryan Leonard, because he's a guy that we've heard his name tossed around for this selection. I feel like almost every mock draft I've looked at over the last 2 weeks from those guys that I just mentioned, Leonard has slotted in there. We talked to Craig Button about him yesterday. So Petey, why don't you kick us off? What do you know about Ryan Leonard?
It's funny. I did actually watch a little bit today. I'm by no means a draft expert. I haven't watched him in games.
But you're a coach and you've watched video.
You know what? He's going to be a guy. He's going to play in the National Hockey League. And I've talked to people on scouting staffs and management around teams. And the word that comes up continually is Bulldog. That he is the guy that, when you look at the line he played for at the NDP in Michigan with Gabe Perreault and Will Smith, one of the most dynamic lines in the history of the NDP program. They say he's the engine. He's the one that digs in the corners. He's the one that gets his feet moving, can play physical, separate guys from the puck, and helps the other two become better players. He's not the traditional power forward. He's not that massive tree trunk kind of guy, but he's physical enough that he can separate players from the puck. He's got enough speed that he can get up the ice quickly, and he's got good hands. He's a right-hand shot coming off the right wing. He is going to be gone in the top 10. He is going to be a top 10 pick this season. He is on everybody's list. He's a guy that gets noticed. He's a guy that if you go watch the NDP play, Ryan Leonard stands out. And it's not that, and I don't want to label these USA development guys, but you get the smaller forward that has high-end skill. We've seen it over and over again.
Even
from the
Clayton
NDP.
Keller.
Even Clayton
Cole
Keller.
Caulfield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That type of player where their skill is so elite and above. That's not Ryan Leonard's game. And I think when you see his ability to protect the puck, fight off defensemen on one-on-ones, and the other thing he does, which is a big asset for me, and one thing I look for in a player is a player that drives the net, a player that's not afraid to get to the blue paint. And I think when you see some of these younger, slighter, high skilled guys, especially when they're younger, they'll cut into the middle of the ice and try to make plays from there. Ryan Leonard's driving the blue paint. This kid is going to be exciting. He's going to play in the National Hockey League. He's going to Boston College first next season. So he's going to get developed through the NCAA. And I've talked about that as a path for guys to get more practice, better training in the gym, nutritional advice. And I think all around you get more well-rounded. I'm not knocking CHL, so don't send the mail here because that prepares you as well, just differently. I think it's a great path for him. Do I think he will be there as a potential pick at 6? I do. And I like him in a GMBA, Bill Armstrong style team.
Yeah.
I think he's a good complement to a player like Logan Cooley that you think of in the middle of the ice with that high-end skill that Logan Cooley brings. I think you put a player like Ryan Leonard on the wing with his ability to drive the net and dig out pucks and get Cooley the puck. Fantastic compliment. So I can see you starting to look at that as a top line 3 years from now and go, oh my goodness, like we're building something now.
Yeah.
So if he's available at 6, is he a guy that could be on the Coyotes' radar? I believe the answer is yes. He will not be there by 12.
You think?
I don't think he's available.
So if the Coyotes do get him, it would be at 6.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a player that's going to drop to 12. I think he has too many of those intangibles, along with that grit, skill, and speed, that I think he will not survive to the 12th pick. And again, this is what's so exciting about the draft. If the Coyotes could pick up a player like Ryan Leonard at 12, boy, howdy. I just don't think that's reasonable. He's a guy, honestly, wouldn't completely surprise me if somebody picked him in the top 5.
Yeah. I mean, Craig Button alluded to that yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to Matvei Michkov again.
Yeah.
Like where does Matvei Michkov land? And the sooner he goes in the draft, names like Ryan Leonard are going to get pushed down. And so there's a very good opportunity for the Coyotes to pick a player like Ryan Leonard at number 6.
Yep. So in 57 games this season, he had 51 goals for the NTDP. And Chris Peters wrote about him that he creates havoc in front of the net, which is what you talked about. He's a true finisher who excels in every element of the game, and is the kind of player you need in the toughest and most important games of the season, which I think is important as well.
You're seeing that on playoffs.
You can get these flashy guys, but when it really comes down to it, when the Coyotes do eventually make the playoffs, you need guys that you can rely on. And it sounds like, based on the scouting at him as an 18-year-old, that is what is being said about him. I guess the one knock on him would be that he's 5'11", so a little bit more average height. Doesn't exactly fit the Bill Armstrong 6'2" and above. Right. Yeah. But that was another thing Chris Peters wrote about. Despite average height, he's a legitimate power winger, which is what you said. And Craig Button on our show yesterday said that Craig Button's NHL comparable would be Travis Konechny. Yeah. So you looked up Travis Konechny,
and he's 5'10", 175. And again, what the hell do I know? I put Ryan Leonard's ceiling higher than that.
Yeah.
And
depends on the situation you go into.
Konechny got 31 goals in 60 games last year.
Yeah.
On a bad team.
Yeah.
He is a very, very good hockey player. And again, it goes back to, not every player you draft is going to be a number 1 center. Like, you need, a hockey team is 20 players. You need to have guys that can eat minutes and play their role. And I think Ryan Leonard is that type of player. I think he is going to make players around him better. He may not put up the points in the National Hockey League that he's putting up at the NDP, but I think the guys that play on his line, and I go back to a Logan Cooley. You got to get Logan Cooley the puck. And you need somebody that's willing to go to those areas, whether that's the blue paint or the corners. And those are hard areas in the National Hockey League to go into. They just are. You need somebody that's willing to sacrifice themselves to get there. And right now, Ryan Leonard is projected to be that type of player. I'm really excited about him. And if the Coyotes end up picking him at 6, I'm excited to see a Cooley and Ryan Leonard line. I think that's exciting to think about the future. And we'll see, because I think at 6, you can really pick for a need. And we talk about defensemen. Do they need more defensemen? Can they get a defenseman at 12? I think Ryan Leonard's a name that Coyotes fans are going to need to know come the draft in Nashville. And that's what we're trying to do here with this prospect. We're just know the names.
Yep.
You already know Bedard.
Yep.
Carlson. You don't need to know them.
No.
Because they won't be here.
They won't be there.
They will not be here. So Ryan Leonard's a name Coyotes fans need to know as they prepare to make the journey to Nashville.
Yep. And we will continue to do this once a day. If there's a specific player in that range, you can check out NHL Central Scouting or check out the mocks by experts. If there's a guy you want us to talk about, tweet at us, let us know in the Discord. But we have about 3 weeks to do this, so we'll try to do one a day until then. And I think Ryan Leonard, just because his name has been mentioned a lot, was a good place to start.
I agree.
And we'll continue to, and hopefully one of the guys we talked about is who they draft. So that we can run the tape
from 6 to 20.
And that's who they're picking. And then you can cut that, what I just said.
Oh, yeah.
So that
and that's who they're picking.
Yeah, I know that's who they're picking.
Nailed it. Way to go, Leah.
Cut that for my records.
Mark it. J button. Man. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, something else that is always right Circle K. They're always there when you
They
need
are.
them. I got another DM this morning that I was seen. I have not seen myself,
Haven't seen
Petey.
it.
I'm the only one who hasn't seen me.
I'm going to stop and get gas today to look for you. And if I do see you, I'll film it. Because guess who's not going to be seeing me?
You know, at D-backs...
What happened to the other thing we did? The photo shoot thing.
Oh, I don't know. At D-backs and Rising games, they've been handing out 10-cent off Circle K cards.
Really?
Like you just go and then when you're walking out, they just
Yes.
hand you the card. So go to a D-backs or Rising game and get it. Save
Wow.
10 cents on gas. Circle Ks are everywhere, literally everywhere. So not only are they convenient for you to just stop and get gas, but convenient to run in and grab some snacks and especially grab a Polar Pop. It's really hot out. So you're going to want to go in and get one. And right now, everybody take out your phones while you're listening to me and text PHNX.
Not when you're driving.
No.
Leah.
If you're
Good
driving,
grief.
do not. Text PHNX to 31310 to join Circle K's SMS subscriber club and get buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you.
And I think AI designed that Polar Pop cup, by the way.
You know, it's
I don't know.
perfect. There are a few things in life.
Look at that.
Oh, it's a 10-cent gas card.
It's a 10-cent. And that's because
I have one too from a D-backs game.
DP goes to Diamondback games.
Is that where you got it?
Yeah, I had an extra. That's yours, Pete.
Oh, I get
Oh.
keep this?
Yeah, I got one.
Boy, howdy.
Look at that.
Look
Wow.
at
The Circle K ferry.
that.
Love it.
I want to leave that there. Because I
Well,
said I'm stopping on the way home.
Um,
Circle K ferry.
there are a few perfect
Shut the
things
fuck.
in life. Circle K
Is one of them.
the Polar Pop cup is one. The other, OGs.
Strawberries and cream.
Amazing flavors. Scratch made gummies. They're locally made too. We love to support a local business as well. And OGs, they have something for everyone. They have their Aquaberry Sleep Edition gummy. They have a strawberries and cream CBD THC 1-to-1 ratio gummy. They have mixed bags of the fruits and the creams: watermelon, red apple, peach, blackberries and cream, orange creamsicle, peaches and cream. Delicious flavors, delivering delicious experiences. I don't know where I was going with that. Thank you, Sean. Oh my goodness. You can check out OGs online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. Must be 21 or older to purchase. Mitch can use some OGs. Mitch in the chat.
Mitch, you gotta relax.
Yeah.
Have some OGs. Sleep edition gummies, Mitch.
Yeah, just
do
take
they
some
hate?
OGs, Mitch. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
But why do you hate? That's why I don't hate.
It takes nothing
if
to
you
be
don't,
kind.
The truth is, if you're a team and you root for a team other than the Coyotes, like right now, you should want to play the Coyotes more.
Yeah.
Because they're a joke team, so you want to get your wins, make it to the playoffs. He's a Jersey Devil fan, according to his little image. How
can you tell that from here?
Because it's isn't that on the logos by the
I have. Oh, wow. You have good
Is it?
vision.
on his
Yeah, I think it is.
to the left of him, the little circles? No.
No, they're like little wreaths.
Oh,
It's like there's like a military man standing behind him.
Oh, okay. I'd look like the New Jersey
that's
Devils.
okay.
Never
We
mind.
don't need to spend any more time.
No. Wait, no.
On Mitch.
We're gonna be. I'm taking this, and I'll say this too, because the OGs will help you with your attitude, right?
Yeah.
I am trying to be, because we're not talking about the other thing anymore.
No. What other thing?
And so it's always positive, and I'm trying to be as positive as I can, and that's why I want to talk about hockey, and that's why we're talking about the draft.
Yep.
Because that's where hopes and dreams come true.
Very true. And
draft.
come true to build the foundations to one day hopefully reach the Stanley Cup final. And we got game 3 tonight.
Oh,
Big game for the Florida Panthers.
So, first of all, don't listen to me. Like, I think if you're looking for advice and predictions, I suck at this. Like, I picked game 1 perfectly because I said that the layoff for Florida was going to be too much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have not found their legs, and it's their coach Paul Maurice said in his press conference yesterday, or it might have been this morning even, that they're too physical. Like there's the fine line of being physical, and he's saying they're being too physical, which what he means, and he said 2 things. They're tiring themselves out.
Yeah.
And if you look back, it's what made Florida successful in this playoff so far. It's not their ability to be physical. It's the right guys being physical. And maybe we talk about Tkachuk and how he's able to be a little more physical presence. But this team's built on speed and getting pucks to the net. And right now they're not doing that. They're so much more concerned at being physical.
And you can't out physical the Golden Knights.
No.
They're all massive.
And they we say that on the show all the time. If you're leading in hits, you don't have the puck. Florida needs to have the puck. Florida needs to have the puck and start focusing more on their offense and getting pucks to the net than they are on trying to put guys through the glass. That has to change tonight. Otherwise, this series is over. I like that they're going back to Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge play. I do think the 9-day layoff has caused them a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I think they're on such a roll that if Vegas wins that series in 4 and they're both rolling, I think this potentially could have been a different series. Vegas right now is so much better than Florida. They're quicker to pucks. They're harder to the net. They're better defending. It's not even close. I want to see a better hockey game tonight.
Yeah, it's been kind of disappointing. Game 1 was like a pretty good game.
To start.
Yeah.
But even there,
fell
Vegas
apart
was
in
better.
the third, yeah.
Like, I just want to see a more evenly matched game. And I will say this. If Florida can get a win tonight,
we have a series.
it's 2-1.
Yeah.
And things are back on track, especially if Bobrovsky plays decent.
They were down 3-1 to the Bruins. Just saying.
Yeah.
They won 3 in a row. So.
Bold prediction from Brady said it's going to be a whole new series tonight. In my opinion, this baby's going to go to 7.
I would love this.
I agree.
Very well could.
Watch PHNX bets at noon, but I am taking the Panthers tonight.
I also feel like we haven't seen we haven't seen any offense from Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's something I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about like the Panthers have skill that Vegas has a lot of depth and they have really great defense, but they don't have that that one guy, I guess, that you look to. The Panthers have a lot of skill, and their skill players need to focus on scoring goals and making those plays, and like you said, they're spending too much time. They've taken horrible penalties, they've had misconducts, and their PK sucks right now, so you better not be on the PK against the Golden Knights, who have just been dominating them on the power play at every turn. They got to play more disciplined. Their stars need to be stars, and Bobrovsky needs to be Bobrovsky.
Nailed it. They've given up 4 goals out of 11 opportunities.
It's the keys to the game.
It is. You just did it. Don't put me out of a job, Leah. I'm not ready. But they've given up 4 goals while shorthanded out of 11 opportunities. That is clearly not good enough. Like, that has to be better. Or stay out of the box. So one of those two things have to happen. They have to get their speed game going, and they have to generate offense. And they're just not doing that. And we talk about one of the ways to get through it. And Vegas defends incredibly well.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? Well, you got to create turnovers at the offensive blue line, meaning Vegas's offensive blue line, which means you're going to have to block shots. You're going to have to get in shooting leads. You're going to have to be very aggressive against the Vegas Golden Knight defense when Vegas is in the offensive zone, because you need to generate those turnovers within 3 feet of the blue line so that you can get your transition game going and create odd man rushes. You need to get guys up the ice. You need to chip to space. So when you turn pucks over in your defensive zone, don't look for the pretty play. Get the puck out to the neutral zone. I don't care if you flip it, bang it off the glass or off the boards, and then have foot races through the neutral zone and try to create offense that way. They're going to have to find a way to get to the net. Aiden Hill is going to make the first save. He's shown that over and over again, and Vegas defense has been so good at boxing out and protecting the blue paint that they're not getting those second opportunities. And when you watch Florida in their previous rounds, one thing they did very well is got to the blue paint, and they got that second chance opportunities, and they're not doing it against Aiden Hill and the Vegas Golden Knights. They need to have the puck more. They need to win the foot races through the neutral zone, and they're going to have to find a way to get to Aiden Hill.
Cut that, and we'll send it to Paul Maurice to play in the locker room before tonight's game. How about that?
And
Coach
yours,
Petey.
And yours too. I think
Coach Petey.
You nailed it.
Michael said Panthers may pull off a Devils versus Rangers situation. That could very well happen. The Devils looked awful in the first 2 games against the Rangers, and then came back and crawled back in that one. So yeah, anything can happen. This series, to me, it's not dead yet, but Florida has to win tonight, because if it's 3-0, I just don't see them coming back from it. They might come back and force more games, but I don't see them climbing from the bottom on that.
It's funny you say that, and how many times it's almost happened in these NHL and NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the 1 year.
The one season where that happened.
I'm just putting it out there.
I just want to see a competitive game. I want to be watching this game in the second period going, I wonder who's going to win. I don't want it to be over in the first again.
Give me something entertaining.
Let's
right
go.
now on BetMGM, Florida is the favorite, -120, but just barely. Vegas is +100. Over under set at 6 right now. And then the spread's 1.5. Florida is +200 on the puck line. So interesting stuff on BetMGM. You can bet on player props as well. You can do same game parlays, and like we said, check out Sean on PHNX Bets Daily at noon to get his picks for tonight's game. And if you want to get in on that action, make sure you sign up for BetMGM. If you haven't signed up yet, use the bonus code PHNX. If you logged in yesterday on Wednesday and got your free bet, make sure you use it before it expires. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, you'll get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use that bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
What beer are you going to drink while you watch Game 3 tonight?
The sun will be shining because we're in the east. I'm going to go wow.
Wow. Wow
natural
and wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's definitely a wow.
I think I have so many wows in my fridge. Thank goodness. Yes?
I just thought, though, and we've talked about this briefly, I'm getting my house painted right now. So all my windows are covered with plastic.
Ooh, so maybe...
And my barbecue area may not be conducive for sitting outside.
So does that change your drink choice?
Okay.
That's yeah. Anything you choose is a great choice because all Four Peaks beer is amazing, and you can buy it wherever you buy your beer. Also, if you want to go to a D-backs game, they got their the Four Peaks draft room at Chase Field. I've heard is phenomenal.
That sounds like a thing we would like.
Yeah, that sounds
I
like
don't even know
something
what it
that
is,
we
but
should
I think
do.
I would like it. Have you
Petey, you would love it because it is it's Four Peaks, you get beer there, and then it's up in right field, so it's a good view and it's away from everybody.
Again.
Oh, perfect.
Right up your alley.
And you drink beer.
Can I watch the game on TV?
Well, you can watch. No, there's seats there that overlook the field. Oh, like it's in the stadium. You watch the game.
It's crazy. It's really cool.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So if you can't make it to go
I'm
ahead.
going to go with the next takeover. I'm going with DP, and we're
July 25th.
We are July 25th.
Yep.
We're going to the Four Peaks draft room.
Yep, love it. If you can't make it to Chase Field, you can check out the A Street Pub or just again anywhere you can buy your beer. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Anything else before we go?
No, I think it's really time for Coyotes fans to ramp up, dial up, and know these draft picks. And I think as we're getting ready to embark on our adventure to Nashville, along with Caleb, we need to know these names. So that when they go to the podium and pick one of these guys, we go, hey, I know that guy, and here's where he's going to fit. And we're just going to continue to talk about the guys that you should know as Coyote fans. And let's continue to make the Coyote fans. I'm asking for people to do this. Everything from now until the draft is going to be positive.
Yeah. I have to say, Brady just bought Father's Day special shirts from the locker.
There we go.
Which one's Brady? Awesome. I have to say, May was terrible.
It was awful.
We're in June, and I've felt like weight off my shoulder. I just feel like, I don't know, a sense of hope, talking about the draft, talking about the future. We're not talking about the thing. Like, it's just been a nice week to just kind of let that go for a little bit. Obviously, it's still a huge issue. Don't get us wrong.
And when it happens and something happens, we will be here to talk about it. And that could happen in June.
It could. So
then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we got you covered. And if you're not a diehard yet, you can help. You can join the family. Become a diehard. Today, you can join our Discord. Petey was asking for advice about a bird's nest and painting his house. I mean, the Discord is more than just hockey conversation. It's a community.
It is a community. And it's not just hockey. We do talk hockey, but we go off the path.
He got the black ones. The orange ones sold out. Oh my gosh. But yeah, 20% off in the locker as well when you're a diehard. 20% off events, including tickets to Nashville, which this is the last week. So make sure you grab them. Pontoon boat, all you can drink. We're doing a winery tour, meetups, live shows, all of it. So join us in Nashville, 20% off that. You also get a Dobson Ranch card when you sign up to become a diehard. You get a $50 voucher to Mountain Mike's Pizza. Just like
virtually pays for itself.
Yeah, it literally
and you get
does.
A free hat or t-shirt every year on your anniversary. Like,
yes, you do get a new shirt or hat every year when you sign up.
Like, you don't get that in other things. You sign up for it, you get it once. Remember the Sports Illustrated used to give you that like football phone, but you get it once. Now you get you don't remember because people used to actually have phones in their houses. I
was more the free jacket era of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I was the free flip phone, football phone. But you get a new shirt every year as a diehard. The truth is, there is no other community like this in sports in Arizona. There just isn't.
Yep.
We're a family, and I sincerely mean that. And you can ask the people that are the diehards in our chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So please join our family. It's a great community, especially the Coyotes community. And we thank you all so much for being here live on YouTube or listening on audio. If you're watching us, be sure to hit the like button on this video on your way out. And if you're listening on audio, be sure to leave us a review on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter in the meantime. Craig, I think he's in Milan, like I said, at Craig S. Morgan. You can follow Petey at S. Peters Hockey. You can follow me at Leah Merrill. Follow Sean at Sean_DePaz. Follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. We'll be back live tomorrow, Friday, 11 a.m., and it's going to be a banger.
It's going to be different.
It's going to be a really fun show. We can't even tell you what it is.
Come with an open mind.
Come with an open mind and get ready to have some fun. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair.
So hope to see everyone tomorrow at 11 a.m. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow.